All right, a Shalom Makyam. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai. The Heavenly Father name is Yahweh. In the Hebrew, it means He's to be or He exists. And His Son name is Yahweh Shai, meaning He is the deliverer. Okay, in the Hebrew, the one you're going to call Jesus Christ. We are the Hebrew Israelites, which consists of the Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, and Seminole Indians. According to the Holy Scriptures and prophecy, we are God's chosen people. Okay, double honesty, apostles and elders of Greatmillstone. Much love, honor, respect to all the Akim out there pushing this knowledge and sincerity and truth and who's fighting that good fight. All right, my name is Barak Allah, coming back at you with another segment, another lesson. And today's lesson is going to be called Hebrew was the first language. Okay, because people got to realize, man, to get the true understanding of this Bible, you got to go back into the ancient the ancient language, which is the Paleo Hebrew, the ancient Hebrew from the past. Hebrew means from the Hebrew word I borrowed from the past. Okay, to get the full understanding, the full grasp, you got to deal with the Hebrew, then you got to deal with the Greek. Ultimately, the Hebrew. That's why there's so much misconception, misunderstanding of different breakdowns on John 3:16, on the hell doctrine, on the lake of fire, who the one you only call Jesus Christ died for, things of that nature. All right, different breakdowns in the book of Genesis, so on and so forth, man. So without further ado, I'm gonna start off with Genesis chapter 11, verse 1. Okay, it says the whole earth, the whole planet, the whole globe was of one language and one speech. So you read that like, what language was that, man? And how did they come up with this language? And how were they able to call upon the name of the Most High? So I'm gonna hit you with Genesis chapter 4, give you a better understanding that they were speaking a language even during this time, man. Because how were they able to call on the name of Yahweh? This is Genesis chapter 4, verse 25 and verse 26. And Adam knew and Adam knew his wife again, meaning they had sex, and she bare a son and called his name Seth. For God said she had appointed me another seed instead of Abel, whom Cain slew. And to Set, to him also there was born a son, and he called his name Enos. And then call his name Enos. Then began men to call upon the name of the Lord. So you go into what's the name of the Lord? You got to go into that breakdown. All right. It says, Esau, says Jehovah, but is Yahweh. Yahweh. So how were they able to call on that name? Yahweh. Because back then it was no the Hebrew language, the Paleo, only has two vowels, mainly the A and one I. You understand what I'm saying? This new language that's coming about, that we speaking today, English. That's the youngest language in history, man. Plain and simple. Okay, all these different languages came about, and I'm gonna read in Genesis 11 chapter when the angels confounded the languages of the people. But before that, the whole earth. Read it again. The whole earth, Genesis 11 and 1. The whole earth was of one language and one speech. Plain and simple. Okay. So I'm gonna show you something real quick in this blue letter Bible. Okay, we're gonna go to the text commentaries. This is serious stuff, man. You got, spirit gotta be with you. I'm gonna scroll all the way down, get to the point real quick to Genesis 11. Even Esau breaks it down to let you know. It says chapter 11. Now in chapter 11, it says right here, the whole earth was of one language and one speech. And here go Esau with his probably, is that a yea or nay in the Hebrew? Okay, so it says probably Hebrew because in the early record of the book of Genesis, the names of the people were Hebrew names that have Hebrew meanings. And so the original language was perhaps, Esau put that perhaps or probably in there, says was perhaps Hebrew language itself. The whole earth was of one language and one speech. So there is no perhaps or probably, that's what it was. The first language that was spoken was the Hebrew tongue. Plain and simple, the Lashawan Kwadash, the holy tongue. Okay? So I'm going to jump from there and go to Isaiah 19. Shalakia, I did the wrong thing. Isaiah 19 and 18. That's the, Shalakia, that's the Old Testament. Okay, Isaiah, where's Isaiah at? Right here. Chapter 19, verse 18. All right, it says, in that day, we're in that time right now, and the Most High is bringing the tribes back together. That's why we able to call on our power, Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. We got Hebrew names. We greet each other in the Hebrew. Yahweh Bashim Yahushai Barakatah, Yahweh Bashim Yahushai Barakatham, Kwam Yasha'Allah. Things of that nature, man. We sing the Lord's Prayer, learn the anointed prayer. You know, brothers, it's getting down with the Hebrew, man, because we going back to the old past. I think that's in Jeremiah. I might be mistaken. We seeking out the old path to get the true understanding. You must seek out the old ways, which is the original tongue, to get the true understanding of this Bible, because this Bible is only written for the Israelites only. And what does the word Israel mean in the Hebrew? Yashar Allah. He is a prince of God, Allah, or power. Okay, so it says, in that day shall 5 cities in the land of Egypt speak the language of Canaan. So this Egypt is dealing right here in America. All right, and the 5 cities not literal. Got this understanding from the apostles. All right, it says the 5 cities not literal, but it's dealing with the camps. And the city is going to start speaking the language of Canaan, which is the Hebrew. Okay, and check this out, man. Check this out. I'm sorry, I went to the wrong thing. The language of Canaan. You go to the cross references right here. It says it breaks it down. It give you the phrases. They give you the scriptures, the 5, the speak, the language. What does it say right there for language? The Hebrew lip. It reverts back to what? Genesis 11 and 1. Plain and simple. Okay. So it says, in that day shall 5 cities deal with the camps, in Egypt, which is America, speak the language of Canaan. And brothers is learning the language of Canaan, which is the Hebrew, and swear to Yahweh of hosts, one shall be called the city of destruction. And that's dealing with brothers, pretty much giving ourselves the Hebrew names and things of that nature, man. All right. So the next scripture I'm going to get is Zephaniah chapter 3, verse 9. All right. Let's start at verse 8, because verse 8, I love this verse, man. Zephaniah 3 and 8. Therefore wait ye upon me, saith Yahweh, until the day that I rise up to the prey. Who's the prey, brothers, man? Our enemies. All right, the Edomites, so-called white man. The Hamites, the Africans. All right, the Ishmaelites, the Arabs. The Chinese, Moab, the Japanese, Ammon. Who else we got, man? All them damn heathens, man. Mainly the so-called white men. Oh, the Amalekites. Them Khazars, the false Jews. Those are our enemies, man. Okay? Therefore wait here upon me, saith Yahweh, until the day that I rise up to the prey. For my determination, the Most High is determined. He's determined. All right? For my determination is to gather all the nations, that I may assemble the kingdoms to pour upon them my indignation. All right? Even upon all. Salaki, man, I'm getting excited. It says, for my determination is to gather the nations, that I may assemble the kingdoms, to pour upon them my indignation, even all my fierce anger. For all the earth shall be devoured with the fire of my jealousy. That's the nuclear missiles, man. The thermonuclear destruction. Okay, and that's dealing with the World War III that's going to take place over there in the Middle East, Saudi Arabia, right there in that peninsula. All right, here's the point. For then I will turn to the people a pure language, that they may call upon the name of Yahweh to serve him with one consent. What's that pure language? That's the Hebrew, man. You know, prove to you once again. It says right there with the phrases, language, Hebrew lip, Genesis 11 and 1. We can see that. Plain and simple. So these other Israelite groups talking that madness, man, most I ain't dealing with them. Because now is the time. You coming back into your customs, calling yourself a Hebrew Israelites, man. You know, some brothers ain't gonna be an expert at Hebrew. You gotta know some Hebrew, man. You know what I'm saying? Know the basics, brother. Speak for myself as well. I gotta work on my Hebrew as well. You know, it's very important, man, because to get the true understanding, that's where it lies, man. Going back into the first language, and that's how the Hebrew alphabet came up. Because Adam named the animals and all that stuff, and you go into the Paleo alphabet, the ba, ga, da, ha, wa, za, ka, da. It's like different characters of animals and houses and things of that nature. Y'all brothers know what I'm talking about. That's a whole different topic. So this is Acts chapter 14, verse 26. I'm sorry, Acts 26, verse 14. And it's dealing with Yahweh Shai himself. All right, when he knocked Paul off his horse, because Paul was persecuting the church. And how he was able to do that, that was a so-called UFO, a chariot, if you could, understand. Start at Acts 26 and 13. At midday, O king, I saw in the way a light from heaven, above the brightness of the sun, shining round about me, shining round about, circular, all right, and them which journey with me. And when we were all fallen to the earth, I heard a voice speaking unto me, and saying in the Hebrew tongue, Saul, Saul, why persecutest thou me? It is hard for thee to kick against the pricks. Plain and simple, in the Hebrew tongue. So that's Yahweh Shai himself, our Lord and Savior, speaking in the Hebrew tongue. So what language you should be getting into to get into these scriptures? The Hebrew, then the Greek. Plain and simple, man. So don't believe the hype out there with these false Israelite groups, man. They're full of crap. So I'm gonna close it off with the prologue of Sirach in the Apocrypha, the book of Ecclesiasticus. It says the prologue of the wisdom of Jesus, the son of Sirach. Whereas many and great things have been delivered unto us by the law and the prophets. That's this understanding that we have, and by others that have followed their steps, which we got apostles and elders, man, following the steps. Apostle Tahar, Apostle Gabar, Apostle Ramla, Apostle Rakar, the rest of the elders underneath them, man. And you got heads over the camps. You got certain brothers are elders in the camps, are following their steps. For the which things Israel ought to be commended for learning and wisdom, whereof not only the readers must needs become skillful themselves, that's what we're doing, brothers, but also they that desire to learn be able to profit them which are without. So we go out there and teach this word, man, both by speaking and writing. My grandfather, Joshua, is supposed to be, it says Jesus is supposed to be Joshua, when he had much given himself to the reading of the law and the prophets and other books of our fathers, and had gotten there again good judgment, was drawn on also himself to write something pertaining to learning and the wisdom, to the intent that those which are desirous to learn and are addicted to these things which might profit much more in living according to the law. I was going to get down to the point, my brothers. It's a lot of reading. Get down to the point. You brothers should know where it's at. I'm trying to find it right here. It says, wherefore let me entreat you to read with favor and intentions, and to pardon us, wherein we much seem to come short of some words, which we have labored to interpret. For the same things uttered in Hebrew and translated in another language, another tongue, have not the same force in them. And not only these things, but the law itself and the prophets. Was the law, the first five books of Moses. So that deals with the Hebrew tongue, man. All right, and the rest of the books have no same have small differences. That's why you got these jackasses out there talking about there's a hell and all this nonsense, when they are spoken in their own language. So with that, brothers, man, hope you brothers are edified. Hebrew was the first language, and we are the Hebrew Israelites, so that's what it is. Don't believe the hype, all the lies out there. Through the spirit and power, Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. We got the truth. Just continue to press forward for that mark. And Lord willing, we make up out of this madness right here called America. Shalom.